Hey, glad you're here. So, today's the day. Today's the day that I quit being afraid. Today's the day that I quit being scared to just follow my heart, do what I feel like is the right thing to do, and start really putting some content out for you guys. So, we're over here at Train Waco today. We're gonna mix it up a little bit. I'm gonna be with my buddy Colton, and we're gonna start putting some work in. Stay tuned. So, it looks like today we're gonna be starting on the squat rack. So, a couple of important things about squats. One, be sure you get good depth. You don't necessarily have to go ass to grass, but you want to make sure you get at least 90 degrees, give or take, on your way down. You want to be slow. You want to be in control of the weight the whole time. You don't need to shoot yourself down so that you can hopefully bounce yourself back up. That's not helping you any. Two, you want to always be sure you're driving through your heels. So eventually you want to get to the point to where when you're coming up in your squat, you want to be able to pick your toes up and wiggle them off of the ground. That way you know you're putting all of that proper tension through your heels and driving up and really executing and using all the muscles that you should be using for your squats. Final thing that's important with squats, especially as you start getting up heavier in your weight, never lock out your knees at the top. You always want to keep loose knees, you always want to keep loose joints. That's going to prevent you from getting injuries. And it's going to keep tension on those muscles, so you're actually going to be working a little bit harder that way, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Again, we're here at Train Waco. If you haven't checked it out, it's actually a pretty sweet setup. My guy Colton, new baby girl on deck.
Masks only. Wait, what?
New baby.
Social distance, bro.
But we're gonna get some work in. I'm gonna be sure and record as much as I can, talk to you guys as much as I can, and again, we're overcoming fear today. So you'll notice a couple of different things about the way that I squat versus the way that he squats. And I'll show you these in different videos. But Colton likes to go really low on the down, but he's controlling the weight all the way down. He's keeping his knees loose at the top. So again, those are those critical points, driving through his heels. You'll notice that whenever I'm doing the squats, I don't go quite as low, but we're still doing the same movement. We're still getting the same benefits in the movement, but we're also still being safe and keeping those knees loose, driving through those heels. That way we're executing the muscles that we're wanting to execute. You'll see. So a couple of more things that I just thought about whenever you're doing these squats, whether you're doing high reps and low weight, or whether you're doing bigger weight and lower reps. Just a couple of things you want to focus on as the weight starts getting harder and the movement starts getting harder. Is one, don't let your knees start coming in like this. That's going to take the tension off of the big muscles in your legs, quads, hamstrings, glutes, and that's not going to allow you to push that weight up. Two, if you get stuck halfway up or coming on the way up on the bottom of the squat, you want to focus on taking your hips, driving them forward, kind of thrusting yourself underneath the bar, giving you that extra little bit of momentum and strength to keep pushing up and making it through those reps and through those sets. So next thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna do lat pull down. I'm gonna show you a couple of different things on these. One, the traditional lat pull down, you don't want your grip super wide. On these specifically, you don't want your grip in really close. So get a good grip about shoulder width apart. You wanna focus on driving your elbows straight down. Now whether you go 90 degrees here, or whether you pull it all the way down, let your back muscles tell you what range of motion that you need to do. So if stopping at 90 works for you, and that's how you're engaging that muscle, that's perfect. You don't need to go down all the way. But if you need to pull it down further, drive those elbows down into your sides, and that's how you're gonna get that squeeze in your lats, that's perfect too. There's nothing wrong with that. So I just realized filming sideways is gonna look a lot better on YouTube, so forgive me on the first couple of ones, especially with the squats where the framing is gonna look a little different. I'm learning at this, I'm new, but we're gonna get it right. So here's what I'm gonna do. There's two different ways to do your pull-ups. One, gonna be a traditional pull-up, whether you wanna put your feet like this, whether you wanna pull your knees up, however you wanna do it. You wanna ideally not kip or not bring yourself up. Again, you wanna be able to control your weight, control your movement. So you're gonna see one, it's gonna look like just traditional pull-ups. It's gonna be up, down. Again, focus, driving through your elbows, drive them down, pull your body weight up. But the second one that you're gonna see is gonna look a little bit different. And the best way to describe it is you're gonna let your elbows come in more, and you're gonna wanna drive those elbows down and back. You'll see, and it'll kind of give you a swinging motion, but what that's gonna do is really activate those lat muscles on the way up. And again, same thing, slow and control. Don't lock out your elbows at any point within the movement. You'll see. So something to think about on that different variation with the pull-up. Whenever you're pulling yourself back, your range of motion is going to be a lot less. So whenever you get your arms in, you pull in, you get to that 90 degrees, that's probably about all the range you're going to get on those, unless you're extremely strong and you're just slamming muscle ups like it's nobody's business. Something to mix it up a little bit, hit your back in a little bit different of a variation. It's nice. Try it. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to hit some biceps. Now, to be totally honest with you, I struggle with connecting with my biceps. So what I'm going to try is this little dude right here. And I think the goal of it is to keep your elbows tucked in tight. It's going to help you to really isolate the bicep muscle. If you don't have one of these, which normally when we lift at golds, they don't, very simple fix for that. What you could do, you can either put one arm up against the bench and keep your arm in place that way, or you can stand up against the wall, do it CT Fletcher style. And as long as you're keeping those upper arms pinned to the wall and you're just isolating the bicep, that's the goal. Another thing to think about when you're doing biceps is biceps not a huge muscle, so your weight's not going to be super heavy so that you can isolate just the bicep. You don't want to engage a bunch of other muscles because that's not what the goal of the exercise is here. So find what works for you, find how you have to do that contraction to get the contraction in just the bicep, and then do that. You'll see. So last thing we're going to hit today is going to be some dips, and then probably going to add some weight to it. The thing with dips is it can be really dangerous on your shoulders, so you don't want to go down too low because you're going to overextend those shoulders. Just like with everything else, whenever you come up on the top, you're going to notice whenever I'm doing this movement that my elbows stay loose. There's no reason to lock out your joints when you're doing movements. All it's going to do is take the contraction out the muscle, and it's going to put you at risk for really hyperextending those joints. And if you want to gross yourself out, look up those videos of people's knees and elbows bent back the wrong way. It's not fun, it's not pretty. But on these, you want to focus driving through the palm of your hand. What that's going to do is going to allow you to engage all of the necessary muscles that you're going to want to use. It's going to engage some of your chest here. It's going to use some of your shoulders. It's going to engage your triceps as well. So what you want to be able to do before you start adding a bunch of weight, you want to probably be able to do a proper 10 to 15 dips, probably even for a couple of sets before you want to strap in weight to yourself. Because again, it doesn't matter how much weight you're doing, it matters that you're doing the movements properly and that you're doing them safely. You'll see. Just finished up, had a good session today. Again, today, overcoming fear. Today I'm got some film in, got some clips in, got some training done. So now it's just to put this all together, get it edited, get my first video posted up. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you. I look forward to growing with you, growing together, going on this journey with you. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm progressing. And remember that progress is success. It's not about reaching your goals in a minute, in a week, sometimes even in a year, but it's about taking a step each day, every day, becoming better. Again, today we're at CrossFit Waco. Pretty cool place if you haven't checked it out. Look them up on Facebook.